1. Hi.
Welcome.
Hi. Welcome.
Whether you're a long-time listener or a first-time listener.
This is the Stay F HOMEKINS podcast.
Correct. My name is Paul F. Tompkins.
My name is Janie Haddad Tompkins.
I'm a comedian.
I'm an actress.
And we're a married couple living in Los Angeles, and this is our After
Dinner podcast. And guys, it does come out monthly. This is our main pod.
The flagship show.
And we're a little late. And then we were late on being late.
Yeah, we were late and then we got later. And here's the thing. There's a lot going on, and we were doing the best we can.
What happened was we were a little late on our wonderful bonus content where we are reacting to season 3 of And Just Like That. Mm-hmm. Paul was traveling, but we're back in the rotation. We're like,
yes.
so this
back on track.
And so we thought we were going to record 2 episodes of Stay of HOMEKINS content was the other night, and it was like, who are we kidding?
Yeah.
And so that didn't happen.
Because we were kidding us.
We were kidding. Actually, the answer to the question of who we were kidding was us. And then yesterday was a crazy day because I went to, you had to do work.
I had to catch up on a million things
and then,
from being away.
Yeah. And then I went to a No Kings demonstration march because there was a nationwide demonstration of No Kings.
Of not being ruled by a king. We don't like that.
We're America, that's like our whole thing is that.
It's part of the brand, and also fuck ICE.
Oh, right. And fuck ICE and like no war, like no genocide, no hate. Like it was just like all of the things that are like have been turning around.
It was very exciting to see how many people turned out all over the place. There were even people in, I think I saw it was in Germany, maybe outside the American embassy, that there was a group of Americans that went to the American embassy.
Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah. I saw a video online of like a ferry ship or something. Like people took over like a ferry ship, and the ship looked like it was tilting because there were so many people on the thing.
Oh, Jesus. I hope everybody's all right.
Yeah. So anyway, this is all just to say we really did try to get it out this episode.
We did, but we have human failings because we're human beings.
Yeah.
We have our flaws. We have our peccadillos. We have our, intrinsic fatal problems.
Well, I mean, listen, I think this is my whole thing.
Let's hear it.
That like being human and flawed is like kind of the hot new thing on the block. Because like now there's this whole like, AI fake this, blah, blah, blah. And people don't like, it's not cool.
We need now to display our flaws so people don't think that we're artificial.
I need to just, in terms of temperature, I'm going to like blow these particular candles out.
Do it.
Just for a temperature control.
I tried to move them far away from you while still casting some like lovely light.
Fire, and it's like hot as shit.
I hear you.
In LA. And, I'm even going to turn the fan up and like,
oh shit,
to cool things off.
Okay.
Because this is ridiculous.
Okay,
so not only are we like a little behind or whatever, this is us coming at you from being awoken.
Oh Jesus.
From a very deep sleep last night.
Yes.
At close to 5 a.m. Yes. Our smoke alarm went off.
It gave us one sharp beep, and then it shut up.
No, it was pulsed. It pulsed like beep, beep, like 5 times.
Sorry, but just the one time. It did not.
It was not continual.
It did one set of beeps.
Right. Like it was going off. Like it was like, wake the fuck up. Your house is on fire.
And then it stopped.
And I like was screaming. I think I was like screaming like, because you were like, I woke up to you comforting me.
Mm-hmm.
And you were saying that, and I was like, why were you comforting me? And you were like, because you were yelling, oh my God, oh my God.
I don't think you were yelling.
Is that true?
You weren't yelling, but you were very emphatically saying, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And the reason I was able to comfort you is because the beeping had already stopped. And so I knew it was not that we had a fire going on, but that it was some fucked up fucking
Well, we
thing.
did not smell any smoke, but we had candles on because our neighbors came over last night. Our neighbors came over and we had candles on.
Yes.
And I do think I immediately turned to you and said, did you leave the candles on?
To be fair to both of us, you said, did we leave a candle?
I thought I said, did you leave? Because I'm like a freak.
You can't be trusted.
I cannot be trusted because I did almost burn the house down.
No, I meant because you were barely awake. But I went out, checked, no candles.
And then the thing stopped and I got the flashlight out just to see like if it was.
Oh, what's really funny is I forgot to say this to you. You said I need to use my flashlight to see what's going on. And of course, my mind just went to phone flashlight. And then the room was flooded with light,
guys,
because
okay.
I had gifted my lovely wife
I sleep
many
next
years ago
the
gigantic
the biggest
flashlight
mag light
that can
ever
also
seen.
be a weapon.
It's like I sleep with this mag light next to my bed.
Yeah.
That I could literally kill an intruder. Like
And it's designed for that purpose.
Is it?
Yeah, they kind of advertise it that way.
I literally could grab this mag light next to my head. Now I'm telling the world there's a mag light next to my head, which is probably bad. Because they also say, like, if you have a weapon in the house, it can be used against you.
True. But anything in your house could be used against you.
I mean, there's, like, knives in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Most people have knives in the kitchen.
Here.
There's bottles. There's a lot.
I bet if you had somebody with a TV remote, it wouldn't be pleasant.
My TV remote, though, it's like, what, the Apple TV remote? You can't kill anyone with that.
No, the big one.
That's not that heavy.
No, but you wouldn't like it.
No, I wouldn't like it.
I'm not saying everything's a murder weapon. I'm saying there's pretty much anything in this house you could pick up and
anything could.
I don't want to get hit with.
Cuckoo.
Hi, Cuckoo.
Cuckoo could be a weapon because Cuckoo has like sharp edges.
That's true.
But that would bum me out.
Well, Cuckoo's house.
You
could, I guess, rip Cuckoo out of the house and use it to slit somebody's throat.
You could rip Cuckoo out of the house and shove it down their
windpipe.
Their windpipe.
That's why you can't bring cuckoo clocks on planes anymore. Just put them in your checked luggage.
All I know is, like I said, I was going to turn on the flashlight because I wanted to like investigate the alarm to see.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, do we need to? Is it one of those things where it's going to chirp like in 10 minutes?
Yes.
Like we're going to fall asleep and then it's going to chirp again and be like, haha, fooled ya.
I was dreading like having to get out a ladder
And have to do the whole thing with
at 5 in the morning.
It always happens at 5 in the morning. It always happens at 5 in the morning.
Now we still don't know what the issue was.
Well, I looked on the internet and it said like they can get dirty or humid.
Yeah, same.
And false.
Big whoop. So what? Who cares?
I also like those alarms, like in general, in case people don't know, they have like a 10-year expiration on them. Like you're supposed to replace them every 10 years. Because I had recently replaced our carbon monoxide one.
Now, I remember asking you last night, does the carbon monoxide alarm make a different sound than the smoke alarm?
I don't know the answer to that.
I feel like they should. And if they don't,
they
that's
probably do,
up.
but we're not going to know what they are because we haven't memorized those sounds.
I think carbon monoxide should go beep, beep, beep. It should be a different octave.
I was relieved our house was not in danger.
Me as well.
But I was shaking. I was trembling. Like after the thing happened, I was shaking.
Jarring as shit. That sucked. I'm going to go on record and say that sucked.
All right. So it's been an eventful time since we've been around.
Did you know? Hold on one second. Scott and Kulop, our friends,
Yes.
have lived
Our darling Scott and Kulop.
They have lived in a beep house for many years.
A beep house? What are you talking about?
There is a smoke alarm somewhere in their home.
No. Not that. No way. They don't know where it is?
No. And I might be exaggerating by saying years. But for a very long time. Because Lauren Lapkus and I would check in with him like, are you still in a beep house? And he would say yes.
Obviously, they couldn't hear it in their bedroom where they sleep, or they would have like torn the house down top to bottom to find out what it was.
I would assume. And look, their house, they have a good sized house.
I also feel like
I don't know why they can't find where this fucking beep is coming from.
I also feel like at some point, does the beep just stop because the battery's not low anymore? It's full on like dead, right?
And the smoke alarm is just like, you know what? I tried to help you. Now I don't care what happens.
I mean, I don't know.
I think that's fair.
I mean, why do smoke alarms and carbon monoxide, I know like heat rises or whatever, but they have to be up so high. It's annoying because whenever something happens with them, like it's really hard to get to them.
Yeah. How come if heat rises, put it on the ground?
But it could burn up. I guess. I don't know.
That's a good point. That's very we're setting this all up so that the smoke alarm is the one that survives?
I feel like there has to technology needs to advance in this arena.
Yeah, I mean obviously there's some reason for it. I guess because the smoke will rise faster than the heat.
Right. It won't burn up, just the smoke will. I mean, I was relieved when it went off and we were awakened. I know we've been talking about this for too long, by the way.
Just 20 more minutes. We're almost.
Anyway, it's just been a crazy time, but so I do want to talk about not necessarily the grim reality that there was a political assassination this morning, or was it yesterday morning?
Yeah. Yesterday was quite a day.
No,
all
it was
around.
this morning.
No, it's yesterday.
It was yesterday morning?
Yeah.
Yes, it was yesterday morning.
Yeah.
There was a political assassination that occurred in Minnesota. And, and I was on the horn with my Minnesota cousins, be careful. My Minneapolis cousins, oh my gosh, what's up? I have some friends there and whatever. But I was, the reason I'm bringing it up is because right before we started recording, the suspect who committed those crimes was apprehended.
Yes.
But in the meantime, some weird stuff kind of came out surrounding this person, people in his life and stuff.
I think I know where you're headed.
And so my whole thing is what was going on in this person's life? Because the first weird detail of this whole case, this is and people are, I hope, have real information, because also it's very difficult to find real news and fake news and what's real,
Yeah.
So if anyone has real information, I would love to know. But the first strange thing that occurred about this guy, his name is Vance. Vance something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. This guy he impersonated a cop. And then he politically assassinated people in their home in the middle of the night.
Yes. Democratic lawmakers,
and had a list and a manifesto. And he was driving squad SUV. And
he had a squad car somehow.
He had several of them because apparently, okay, so these are the weird details that emerged.
Yeah.
He was someone who was starting a security business. He was the CEO, or whatever, of a security business. So he was acquiring these squad cars, allegedly, I should say. All this stuff allegedly, not supposedly.
He did have them.
Yes, but allegedly for the security business is what I mean.
Supposedly.
I don't know. Guys, I don't know. Oh, can I just put allegedly around everything I'm going to say for the next 10 minutes because I'm about to get into how weird this is all like making me think about stuff. But and so I don't want to get sued or whatever. And so basically he had these squad cars. He dressed up like a cop. He put a latex mask over his face, because people have security cameras now. That's an accessible
And there is a security cam picture of him standing at the door.
Yes.
With this terrifying mask on.
With his whole SWAT gear looking stuff on and everything. And the reason they knew who he was so rapidly is because he had enacted this violence at one lawmaker's home. Mm-hmm. And I watched the press conference. So this is what the cop said. That one of the cops said, hey, there's another lawmaker that lives not far from here. Let's go do a wellness check. Mm-hmm. This is kind of sus. Mm-hmm. This is clearly this was like a targeted execution. Right. And so they go to the other lawmaker's house and they ended up interrupting the assassination, or they got him on the aftermath of the assassination. Mm-hmm. So the squad car was left behind and they saw him in the fake cop stuff and he ran off on foot or whatever. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that all happened. Okay, fine. They're trying to find this guy. Minneapolis goes on lockdown yesterday. They were saying, be careful, because there were demonstrations, as we said, the No Kings. They were maybe don't go, but people went anyway, but they were be on high alert, be on high alert. This man is armed and dangerous, kind of a thing. In the meantime, they ended up apprehending the man's wife. They, cops detained her temporarily. She had, I think she had a gun, passports, and cash. That was reported. A gun, passports, and cash. And she was with some of his relatives. But they let her go. But I'm assuming they tagged the hell out of her car and wanted, Yeah. And I guess they let her go because number one, she wasn't doing anything illegal and they couldn't say that she was connected to his.
Right. They could not tie her to this plot.
To this thing. Then this is the thing that came out where I was like, what is going on? This man comes out on the news and his name is David Carlson. Yeah, David Carlson. And he's like, hey, guys, I'm the killer's best friend from childhood.
Yeah.
Not only am I his best friend, he's my roommate here. We all live here and he's my roommate. And it's okay, but he's married? I don't
Were they, I was confused by that. Were they current roommates or they used to be roommates in college or something?
They were I think that he was saying this is his home sometimes.
Okay.
And I'm when the wife kicks him out or what? I don't it. And he was hey, yeah, I'm just so shocked. And he's he's being interviewed on the news. It looked like all of the glass in his house, every window and the glass door to
Can I describe this?
Yes.
So reporters go to this man's home.
David Carlson.
And he is, honestly, who gives a shit what his name is?
I don't know why.
His name could be Carl Davison for all I care.
I just need to know about David Carlson.
So he is standing on his porch in a Papa John's pizza uniform shirt,
polo,
I guess.
kind of.
Either he works for Papa John's
works
or
for Papa. It seemed like he was
I would imagine. Yeah. He is sweeping. You hear the sound of glass tinkling. there's a door behind him that is like just a frame, half of a frame.
It looked like a glass, like it was at one time a glass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Storm door.
Behind him as he's speaking is a woman in a window which is also broken, and she's trying to like get the frame back in the house.
I thought it was a man, but it might.
Oh, I thought it was a lady.
It was hard to see because it was so far in the background. Cleaning out broken glass of a window. In the
videos that we saw, no explanation for this. This timing didn't seem ideal to have a press conference. And he is saying, he hated abortion. I don't like abortion either, but I know he hated abortion. I know he's trying to start his business.
He's like a Trump supporter.
He's a Trump supporter, and Then he starts reading this text message that he got.
That he says that the killer sent him. It made it sound like sent him and maybe
another friend.
Somebody. Like it was a chat.
Sent it to the chat.
He reads the
thread was popping off. He reads this saying, by the time you read this, I may be dead. I'm really sorry about any trouble this has caused you. Obviously, you weren't involved in this. You didn't know I was going to do this. He's going on like, I felt I had to do this. Again, you guys didn't have anything to do with this.
So if anyone asks, you definitely knew nothing.
Then, one of the reporters says, can we see that? Can we get a screen cap of that? And he goes, no, he's having a hard enough time.
Sorry.
I think it would really.
I don't want to be laughing about tragedy, but there's something so weird about this story.
It's like the way, and he's crying as he's reading this.
He's crying. Then he's instantly. I mean, he could have been in shock. I don't know. I don't know.
Who knows? But the reason why we couldn't look at the phone was
he didn't want it on the news.
Very funny to me. He's like, this poor guy. He's had a hard time. He killed somebody. He was like, trying to kill somebody else.
He's like, he's such a good guy.
He had to throw away that mask that was, it was a pretty good mask. It was probably expensive.
He was basically he was such a good guy. Like, this is so not like him. Yeah. And
this guy's demeanor was so weird throughout this whole thing.
I mean, on the one hand, I don't know what shock is like. And obviously something traumatic happened to this guy's home because he was sweeping up glass.
Yes, he was. Here's what I feel shock is not like. I'm going to call a press conference right away.
Well, maybe they descended.
But how do they know?
Because supposedly he did tell the authorities about the cops could have leaked it.
Maybe.
I don't know. There's a lot missing here.
Yeah.
Like, number one, he was married with kids but had roommates. I don't understand that. Number two, he was starting a security company and no one thought it was weird that he was amassing, like, police-looking stuff.
I mean, that does make sense. You could get these cars and then you could repurpose them. Yeah. You can make them look different, whatever. One had lights and one didn't, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, people do that though. Like they'll put like lights on their thing and impersonate cops. Oh
my God, I've thought so many times about getting one of those. You can get an alarm like at a if you're at a rest stop. When you're, I've seen them on every stop we've made where you're on the highway and you go to some rest station and then they have like all these automotive supplies.
Yeah.
And one of them is like a big flashing light you can magnetize to your car.
What? That's insane.
I remember the first time I ever saw that was in Starsky and Hutch because they had their cool car, but because they were plainclothes cops.
On top.
They would stick it on top.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so anybody can just do that?
Anybody can just do that. I mean, like, well, like that, the Murdoch murder whole trial or whatever. Like, it was like a whole thing that he would ride around town with like
a fake siren
with a thing on his car.
Wow.
Because they were like, it was the whole good old boy thing where they because he was like the county solicitor or something. It was like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He can't stop at a red light. He's got important soliciting business to do for the county.
Or like, I just think like there's already mistrust of the actual police happening in our society, in our cultural sickness, what we're in or whatever. And then to add on top of it that now we might not even be dealing, and this is like, I guess, kind of related to these ICE raids in a way, like people in plain clothes, like pulling out badges, like anyone can buy something on eBay or on Amazon that makes them seem, I mean, like, is the ultimate protection to have your own badge so that when someone pulls a badge
nice
on you,
try. You know what? That is absolutely it. Have your own fake badge. When they fucking come up to you, like,
be like,
hey,
FBI,
hey, what does this look like to you?
FBI.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like, oh, like you have
no,
to
it has to be.
above.
It has
like
to be a
ATF,
metal, exactly.
ATF, or, or like when they're like, or if they're
Secret
not
Service.
ICE, you're like, I'm ICE. No, I'm actually ICE.
You clowns.
Yeah,
we're on the same side.
And then you just like sneak out the back door or something. I don't know. Like,
I think that's honestly, that's the move.
It might be a move, but then it's like, well, that's what I'm saying though. Like, we live in this crazy time right now in America where the culture is so fucking sick and toxic. And I just, it's like, so like we're trying to hang on to our humanity, right? I mean, I know I'm kind of,
some of us.
Well, I know I was like laughing at this guy, but I mean, I was laughing at the absurdity of it. I mean, it was a horrible tragedy that happened.
Yes, it was a horrible tragedy. We're not laughing at that, of course.
No.
But I think this dude
is suspicious.
I think this dude absolutely knew this was going to happen. And I think that he is trying, because sometimes people are just that dumb. I think he is trying to set up some kind of plausible deniability. And
so he went on camera because there might have been more stuff in that text he wasn't reading, and that's why he didn't want the screenshot of it.
If indeed there even was a text from this guy.
Well, that was the thing I was thinking. I was like, how can the news report on this where he's just saying there's a text in here from him and they can't, like, there's no verification? Like he could be reading from his notes app.
Yeah. Like, we saw a reporter after the video of him.
Yes.
And the reporter is saying, is like reading the transcript of that, what he said. And it's like, well, we don't know that's real.
He said.
Yeah.
It's a he said at this point.
We don't know that that's real. But they're reporting it, but she was reporting it like, this is what the guy said to him. It's like, well, you don't know that.
I mean,
he wouldn't let you look at the phone.
He wouldn't let you look. And also, anyone can make up a fake number and you can call it anyone in your phone.
Absolutely.
So you could even, like, it might be that this guy hasn't even talked to him in like 5 years or, like it's even possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he just wants like his 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. There was nothing about it that seemed normal or, believable.
Like believable.
Yeah.
Believable. Yeah. And so I guess so right before we started recording, it said that they apprehended the assassin. Mm-hmm. He was at like near his farm. I guess he must own a farm. And they found his like a hat that maybe belonged to him nearby or something like that. And they haven't ruled out that he was assisted because he fled on foot.
Yeah.
And then his face was all over the news.
Yeah.
How in the fuck did he then get himself somewhere else?
Yeah.
And there was the wife had passports and money, and then this guy's saying he texted him that morning. Like I feel like everyone was just like, dude, are you okay? Like, do you need me to help you out?
Yeah.
And maybe like they do love him, and and they think that that's okay. But it's like,
well, they might also be pieces of shit
because that's a crime, though.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Unless they don't believe it was him.
I think they do. And
so this guy who did the assassinations, he was like evangelical.
Yeah.
Now, again, I have to preface this with like, I don't know what's real online and what's fake anymore. Mm-hmm. But there was a video of him going around from like his past where he was like on like a stage, like and maybe like a missionary situation because there was someone translating into French or I think his like testifying, like one of those like, you know, and then Jesus found me, and when I found Jesus, da-da, and he would look like he like Elon on ketamine. I mean, it was like that kind of energy, you know, like like and it was like, oh yeah, like maybe he was mentally, like he had schizophrenia. I mean, like
I mean, we can't diagnose him, but I think it's safe to say he was not well.
Definitely not well.
Yeah.
Definitely not well. Like that's, I mean, clearly.
Yeah.
But like, what the fuck? I don't know. Everyone, this is just to say, it's a very, it's easy to be scared right now. And it's also like imperative to resist the fear, and it's like tiring.
It is. And that's part of it, of course, is to wear everybody down. But you know what? I saw a thing, maybe it was on Blue Sky. Somebody was encouraging people to go to the protests, saying specifically to people to go if they felt like they couldn't go by themselves. And they said, actually, it will make you feel good to go because it's easy for us to feel like, oh, I'm all alone in my despair, and you know, that's for other people to do, and I just can't make myself do it. That it will make you feel obviously so much less
connected,
but it'll make you feel energized. You know, it'll make you feel like, oh, this is great. We're all there's so many of us. We outnumber them. You know,
I felt like, oh, that's funny because it didn't occur to me about because I go so many places by myself.
Yeah, you're very good about that. You're able to do that.
I sometimes, the only times like I don't feel like it is like when I don't feel like going somewhere. Yeah. But like I will go places by myself like a lot. Like I went to the No Kings demonstration yesterday by myself. Actually, a couple of friends were like gonna come. Like there was a lot of like, are you going? And you know, maybe I should go. And you know, and for whatever reasons, like they decided not to or didn't go or whatever, which was fine because you know everyone has their like bandwidth or whatever or their reasons. Right. Also, yeah.
Some of the people that said they weren't going to go were like, I actually like Kings. I wouldn't mind one.
Well, one of my close friends is Canadian, and I'm like, do not touch my friend. So, hands off. Hands off her elbows that are up. And that ain't going to happen on my watch. So you stay home. Anyway, whatever. But I mean, that was, was going to go actually. But like, I was like, I went. And, you know, part of my thing is like parking or how do I get there? You know, because they said transit. It always
seems very daunting.
The transit, I was going to bike. I even like looked it up and I was like, no, it's in Glendale. I know I can park like blocks and blocks away and walk or whatever. And the only thing is like, I was very energized by how many people were there. It was a lot of people. On the other hand, I personally can get overwhelmed in crowds.
Sure. Yeah.
And
that's part of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like there was a minute where I walked like deep into the crowd because there was this awesome band like playing, like energizing people. And I felt like kind of boxed in and I was like, oh, I need to get like, I'm going to start to like hyperventilate a little bit in here. And I got like to the edge again. And I was like, it's kind of good to go places by yourself because you're so nimble. Like you don't have to be like oh, do you want to go here or there?
Mhm.
But then as soon as I got out of my car to walk to the thing, I ran to our next door neighbor.
That's right.
Like
That's right.
instantly. And I was like, oh my God. And she was like, yeah, no kings or whatever. So like, it was funny, but, yeah. And I saw people there. I saw familiar faces from afar.
Yeah.
I do think these big demonstrations feel weirdly, and maybe this is a false sense of security and naivete, but when the demonstrations are big and simultaneously nationwide, where they're like all in type in your zip code, da 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 da, it is harder for bad actors to mobilize against something that scale, like large scale, than like sort of one-off small.
When you say bad actors, who do you mean?
I mean like if someone wanted to run a car into a crowd.
Oh, you mean like people trying to, not people who are part of the not people, because the term bad actors is used all the time to describe people involved in the protest who like throw a bottle or break a store window or something.
Oh no.
So that term is always exclusively like be peaceful because of the bad actors in there.
No, I meant like Proud Boys like coming with like their face like, or those like I see
so fascists.
Yeah, like I'll see these videos online where like a U-Haul will pull up somewhere.
Yeah.
And then the back of the U-Haul opens up and then all of these like men in masks like dressed the same get like unloaded with like, it's so weird. And
show to delivery.
someone wrote online and this is okay, so maybe I need to carry a badge, my fake badge, and or whatever, and also a padlock, because someone was like, all you need to do is padlock that motherfucker when they get back in or whatever.
That's funny.
And you've got the key, like how they're gonna like that? That's gonna have to cut them out, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, why are they in a U-Haul? It's so like, also that's like illegal. You're not supposed to put a bunch of people in
No, you're not. They don't have benches in there. Unless they're putting some kind of seating in there.
Like literally was like an entire season of The Wire, essentially, of like human trafficking. Yeah. If you willingly get in a U-Haul with like 100 people, like they could totally human traffic you. Like you're like, oh yeah, let's go to this protest or whatever. How do you know and trust that the people are the people?
Well, because you've all been hanging out together for years talking about how the white man is oppressed. You know what I mean?
Those people.
How what?
I wouldn't trust them because they seem crazy to begin with. Anyway, I'm just saying.
You're crazy though, is the thing. You're just as
when
stupid as they are.
When the demonstrations are nationwide like that, it actually feels easier to go to them than if they're like, we're doing this one-off in, you know, wherever.
Yeah, like a spontaneous thing that.
Yeah, and it's like someone sees that online and they're like, I'm gonna go like, I'm gonna kill a Trump derangement syndrome dumbass.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
But the drone footage, I shared it on Instagram in my stories. There was a drone shot of the LA protest that was it was breathtaking how many people were there, and it was really it really gladdened my heart.
Yeah, people don't like this.
Yeah.
It's like kind of obvious.
Yeah. And I think it's like I think it's not, because what's really good about it is it's not just like progressive left people, it's also liberal left people. It's you know, a line has been drawn about this, and a lot of people are getting on the other side of the line and saying this is too far. This is too much.
I agree. My fear, and then we have to take a break for a second because just need a break but
never you mind why.
Yeah, okay, you don't need to know
none of your
why.
business.
None of your business.
We don't ask why you take breaks.
My fear is that it's a majority of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really truly is a majority of the country.
Yeah.
But because of our system, electoral wise, however you want to break it down, it's like we outnumber them, but it doesn't matter. That's my fear. We outnumber them, but it doesn't matter because, things are rigged in a way, things are structured in a way.
They are. But that's, I think in these cases, it's the kind of things that they're going to try to do. I think it will prove to be more difficult than they think, Like right now they're disappearing all these people, one at a time and grabbing them here and there.
Yes.
But you see the people showing up at places,
and people saying like, get out. I don't care who you are, leave.
Yeah.
And already Trump said, stop taking farmers and hotel workers because like I own hotels.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dumbass. Yeah, no, and I eat stuff that gets farmed.
You didn't think this through?
You do?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break.
All right, we'll be right back.
And we're back. Welcome back. On a break, I did have to look out the window at my trees because I'm a tree mom now.
Janie's a proud tree mom. We have one skinny tree in the front yard. And then two skinny trees behind the house.
Okay, wait. Can I talk about the front yard trees?
Yeah.
Are
you gonna tell the story?
Just that it would like that they came.
You and Catherine.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. There was this whole thing. Okay. So in LA, they have this wonderful program where you can get free trees from the city, and I was like, I got to get me one of them trees. I really want
free
one.
trees? That's a bargain.
I want one of them trees so bad. Yeah. And so I go on the website, and you fill out the thing, and you're basically like, okay, I really want this kind of tree, but I'll take this other kind of tree if you don't have any or whatever. And then you get an email and they're like, we will be reviewing your application, blah, blah, blah. And then I swear to God, just someone just shows up and leaves a tree on your porch. I was like, wait, really? It's done? It's happening? And I went out and I looked at the tree and it was like a stick. It was like a twig. Yeah. It was like a twig in a plastic, pot or whatever. And I was like,
it really looked like, just what's the expression about somebody being, is it about being generous or something, planting a tree, an old man planting a tree whose shade he will never enjoy. And it really felt like that. By the time we will be dead before this tree becomes an actual tree.
This tree will never become a tree in our lifetime. I mean, that might not be true because, well, anyway, it was this crepe. It's like a crepe myrtle because I love the flowers on those, and I was like, okay. So it's on the porch and I'm like, oh, it's just a twig. I mean, it's literally just a twig. But okay.
It's tall, but it does not look like, you wouldn't call it a tree if you saw it. You would think it was part of a tree that fell off.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, I get why it's free or whatever. So
you get what you pay for.
So that now I'm like, okay, so then there's this agonizing because I didn't want to put it where I originally said I was going to put it because I wanted a different vibe. When I saw the twig, I was thinking about a different vibe for the backyard. No. And so I was like, well, it has to go in the front yard. But we already have a tree in the front yard. And so we didn't want to put close to that tree. But then if we put it on the other side of the yard, it's in the way of our cars.
This is the backstory of the tree that the house came with. It is a Japanese maple. Which, for the times when it is in bloom,
is gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. And that is maybe 3 days out of the year.
No, it's longer than that. But there's definitely half the year where it literally looks like a dead tree is in your yard.
But it was originally on one side of the house. It was close to the driveway.
Yeah.
So you had to walk around it.
It was annoying to us.
And it was kind of annoying. So we're like, let's put it on the other side.
So we moved the tree to the other side. And that was a good decision for us.
I agree. I stand by that decision.
And so we were like, well, we don't want to put the twig tree in the same spot, and maybe it actually will grow into a tree in our lifetime and be in the way.
It'll certainly be
in between the door and the
It'll probably be wider around than the Japanese maple.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Do you think it's the same kind of thing?
I have no idea. Honestly.
You said you love these trees.
Well, I don't know.
You sound like the guy reading the text. What am I supposed to believe?
David Carlson. David Carlson, this tree story. So, okay. So it's sitting on and here's something else you should know. Both Paul and I have black thumbs.
We have killed every plant. That's
people this is. In fact, the whole thing about me doing this tree is like me trying to expand my skills and horizons. Because while I love trees, I'm not like
big fan.
I'm not like someone that can just like grow a tree or plant a tree. I'm just not that person.
Right.
I've got YouTube videos. I've got the pamphlet it came with, but I'm intimidated as fuck. So Catherine, who's intimidated by literally nothing, was like, I'm going to help you plant this tree. Don't you worry. I'm going to help you plant this tree. So
do you know, is it a red crepe myrtle?
It looks like the flowers are white, right? Because you said, it's white.
Okay.
Because I was kind of hoping it was pink.
Right. This is one that's very pale pink. I'm seeing one's very pale pink, almost white.
This one it finally had flowers because I kept watering it in its bucket before we had the time to plant it. And so it did pop a white flower out. It's got like white flowers at the top.
Yeah.
So
and what are the trees in the back?
That's a museum. I'll get to that. But the ones at the back, I went to a tree nursery and actually bought the trees, and they're very baby trees. Mm-hmm. It is a desert museum Palo Verde, which is a hybrid of a Palo Verde, which means green stick in Spanish, that was designed by the Desert Museum in Arizona. I'll get to that.
Yes, I just wanted to look up what they look like when they're actual trees.
And it's a single branch. I mean, it's a single trunk, not a multi-trunk.
Yes.
So look up the single. Okay, yes. Guys, sorry. I went really deep in trees, guys. It's been like a couple months of me getting
It's been real tree times over here.
Like a couple months of me getting into trees. I've really been getting into trees.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So Catherine's like, I'll come help you. Don't worry. And so, I had to borrow a shovel. I don't even have a freaking shovel. So we found like the spot where we were going to put it. And she's like, okay, this is good. So we start like digging a hole. And she is like, oh, there's like a rock here. Also, just so you don't think we're totally stupid, I feel like I knew for a fact that this was a clear area in our yard because of past issues with the water line or the gas line. Like, I've already been down that road, so I was like, this is fine. She's like, there's a rock here, and she's like, she can't dislodge it. And then we start uncovering it, and it's clearly some kind of steel pipe. Yeah. So we've like hit this steel pipe.
And what you have to know about Los Angeles and probably all of the country is that they had infrastructure that back when it was built, the vibe a lot of the times was, who cares? Right. Like we have a friend who, in her neighborhood, in her place in Highland Park, she lived in Highland Park. They just moved. But in Highland Park, they had this problem with the pipes under their house.
The sewer pipes. Are you talking about Tay?
Yeah. And then it turns out it was like the whole street, the way they did it, the materials they used, whatever. And this is like back in the 30s. They had to
dig like 45 feet under the street in front of the house to repair a crack.
And you have somebody telling you like, oh yeah, when they put this in, it was all fucked up.
Yeah.
Great. Now it's everybody's problem.
It's everyone's problem.
Yeah.
Like literally, and like you're like liable for more than you think here.
Exactly. It's on you now.
Like literally, like you're like, wait, this is out in the street. Why is this my problem?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, it just is somehow.
These people who are long dead, fuck you over.
So anyway, so she hits this steel pipe. By the way, it's also like boiling hot. We're out in the sun. We're doing this thing. And I'm like, I look like a grandma. I'm like in a sun, like 8 ball caps and Crocs and shit. And like, she's like, oh no, we shouldn't dig here. We better find out. Oh, I hope I didn't break this pipe. And it didn't seem like she did. But then we kind of backfilled it and we're like, okay, we will call 811, which is like this number, the call before you dig number, which we did not do.
Yeah, we were thinking about digging, but what if we hit a metal pipe?
We were just like, God. So then Kath and Paul was out of town. So I was here by myself. And Catherine was like, Janie, I'm terrified that your house is going to blow up. She's like, I don't think I broke anything, but like, what if that is the gas line? And I leave. And then we have this like kind of like dramatic conversation about it. Like, because I was like, oh yeah, like, I guess I could die. I was like, would you tell Paul like that, you know? And she was like,
if it had been the gas
line? Yeah. I was like, would you tell Paul? Like, and she was like, no, I would literally commit suicide before, like, it would be the worst thing I could go on in my life. And I was like, okay. So I was like, okay, it's this. I was like, let's just call SoCal Gas and find out if I'm in any danger, you know. Because she couldn't live. I mean, and then it kind of got in my head at this point, you know.
Yeah.
Because you know how I can get, you know. And so
I would have been the same way.
Because I was like, because like we're on the internet looking, and it's like we didn't hear any hissing noises. We didn't smell any gas. We didn't. It didn't seem like she broke. But you know, obviously we're doing our due diligence. So we call SoCal Gas, which was the right thing to do. Honestly,
I say really quickly, you know how natural gas does not have an odor, and so they give it an odor.
They put the odor in it. Yeah.
Why couldn't they make it nice?
like strawberries.
I mean, maybe not an existing thing.
I
think
could have
combined a few different
If you make it nice, it should be bad because someone smelling something nice would be like, "Oh, my house smells great."
But if they could come, it
needs to smell bad.
If they could come up with a signature scent,
it's kind of signature-y.
I'm saying a good one though. Okay. Where you'd be like, I know that's not fresh baked bread. I know it's not an apple pie baking. That is natural gas. And maybe I won't have an unpleasant look on my face while I call emergency services.
Well, we call like SoCal. The guy literally shows up. I mean, and it's like a Saturday or Sunday or something crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's like a Sunday. And like he shows up in like 10 minutes or something. Mm-hmm. Like he's there.
Yeah.
And he's like, is there a gas leak? And I'm like, okay. I don't know, but we started digging and he's like, you got to call 811 before. And like, okay, yeah. I was like, okay, right. Okay. And I was like, and you know, we hit a thing, And so he's like, okay, he confirmed what I had already kind of known, which was the gas line was on the other side.
Right.
But he had like a number to call where they have like the schematics. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, why does he get to have the schematics? Like, why can't I have the schematics of like my own yard?
Can you ask for a copy? Hey, could you email me that?
No, because like he had to call someone.
Could you shoot me that PDF?
He had to call someone for, I don't know. Yeah. It was weird. And so
the keeper of the schematics.
And so he was like, well, let me, test the soil to make sure. So he's like going around the whole front yard and like the truck's out front. And I'm like, wow, like the neighbors can see like I've dug this ugly hole that we backfilled and like now the SoCal Gas is out. And they're probably like, that dumb bitch fucking didn't call 811. And so he takes all the soils and he's like, there's no gas. So I called 811 the next, because you had to call on Monday. Mm-hmm. And then, so I do this whole thing with 811. This is a really long story to get to how, like, planting the tree, because it was like a whole ordeal.
Yeah.
It was like a thing. And they were like, you have to demark your hole with a white flag, or white spray paint. And so I'm like, okay. I was like, well, can I put an orange cone? Because I have an orange cone. She's like, no. She's like, because they all use different, all the different utilities use different colors. Right. And she's like, T-Mobile uses orange or something like that. And I'm like, well, I don't even fucking use T-Mobile. So I don't care if I hit a T-Mobile pipe.
But interesting trivia.
Or whatever the fuck. And so we scramble and put out this flag. They come and they spray paint like there's no thing here, whatever. And then we finally planted the stick tree. So now I've got my baby tree in the front. And then I went and I shopped at a tree nursery for the backyard trees.
Yeah.
Because I wanted like a very specific kind of tree. I was looking for a vibe. I went down a rabbit hole on trees for your yard. And that's when I discovered and learned about the
Desert Museum
Palo Verde tree. And it's like there are all these Palo Verde trees, but the Desert Museum in Arizona invented this hybrid, like this perfect hybrid.
Oh, wow.
Where it doesn't have thorns.
Nice.
It doesn't something else.
Doesn't have allergens, maybe?
It's fast growing. It's low litter. A low litter tree.
That is true. There's a little bit of litter, but it's not bad.
Because a flowering tree, you're going to have litter.
Yeah.
Like, you're just going to have litter.
Yeah.
But you don't want to, like, the crazy, like, jacaranda trees or whatever, and they just, like, litter the hell out of the streets here. Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's just nature, you know? Like, we just got to live with the nature.
What are the ones that stink?
I don't know.
They shed all over the place, and then it's like, at a certain season, you're walking down the street, and it's just terrible.
I don't know.
I can't remember which trees they are, but I never knew about them until I moved here.
I don't know, but I love my Palo Verdes. So I took my friend Felicia because I was like,
Felicia.
Hi, Felicia, not bye, Felicia, because she was like all into my journey with the trees because she did stuff in her yard and she's like, this is what I planted and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. So I was like, well, I want these specific trees. I know they sell them at this tree nursery in the valley. I'm very intimidated to go to this tree nursery. Will you go with me? And she was like, yes, of course. Like she was like all about it. So we go deep in the valley to this tree nursery. And when I tell you, like, it's wild when you discover like places in LA that exist that there's like a whole other world of things like happening.
There's so many places like that because LA is so sprawling. It's worlds within worlds.
So we go in this tree nursery. This place is enormous. Like it's like a huge segment of an entire city block in the valley. And we get this kid to help us. He was awesome. This guy, Nick, he was like awesome. And he was like taking us and showing us these trees. Now this place has like $10,000 trees.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm like, I want this tree. And he was like showing me the Palo Verde tree. And I'm like, what's the babyest version? Because that's not in my budget. And he's like, took us.
Oh, wait. So there's like a full grown one you could get for a ton of money.
Of any kind of tree.
Yes, and we'll just stick it in your yard.
They will crane it in your yard because it's like that's how big these trees are. Wow. Like it's like for rich people like in Beverly Hills where they have like rows.
They don't want to wait for it to grow.
And they have so much land. They have to landscape out their land.
They have to.
And I'm like literally buying like I just wanted twin little trees in the backyard like that mirror each other, you know. And he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, don't worry. He's like, he's like, you picked a great tree. He's like, and I was like, right? Like, I was like, are you sure I shouldn't have picked a non-fruiting olive tree? Because I do love an olive.
Yeah, somebody was selling us on those. Who was somebody?
Well, Alex wanted me. My brother Alex wanted me
Yeah.
to get an olive tree because it was my heritage.
That's right. Your Lebanese heritage.
But then I was like, well,
and
then
my Italian heritage.
But then that's true.
Yeah.
And I do love an olive tree. I think they're beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, well, then you get a fruiting one, and then it's messy.
Absolutely.
And am I gonna pick and brine olives? I don't.
No,
think I
we're not gonna fucking do that.
But so I was like, well, we could get a non-fruiting one. But Nick agreed with me. He thinks they're kind of overdone. A little overdone.
Oh, honey.
And I was like, right?
Maybe if this was 2023. But it's not.
He's like, you picked a good. He's like, no, you picked a good tree because it's gonna. And I was like, but a baby one because I need like, and it was like Memorial Day sale, so I got like two. I mean, it was still like $200.
Wow. Although when I think about it, for a tree,
but it's a baby tree.
Still, but it's not going to remain a baby tree.
True.
You know what I mean?
But then
I never thought about how much trees cost.
But then I was like,
I guess we could have gotten seeds.
Seeds. We could have gotten seeds for like 50 cents. Because these are like started trees.
Yes,
like
exactly.
It's been started a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, so I was like, I need the baby tree. And he's like, right this way. So he took us like,
right this way.
They were all the way at the back of the lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know how like they put the expensive stuff in the store up front?
Yeah. Well, it's just more impressive.
That's true.
You know, you walk in there and
it's like you're walking in like an arboretum or something.
Yeah.
So then I'm like asking all these questions, like, because I was like, Nick, I was like, tell me, I was like, tell me about like
Nick, don't bullshit me. I know I can get trees for free from the city. Why should I come here and spend my money?
I was like, okay, like you went to like horticulture school or something. And he was like, no. I was like, I think he ran like a restaurant at the Four Seasons. I don't know. Like Felicia really got like his whole backstory, but he was showing us pictures of his parents' garden that he did. Cause he's like, I planted this here and here. He's like, you could do this and this. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, this place is so crazy. And it's like, this tree nursery is like a chain. Mm. So like they have like all these locations like throughout like the United States.
Yeah.
And he said, oh yeah. He said, a few years ago, it was like a family business. Mm-hmm. And the son like sold out his stake or something to like private equity, something crazy. Mm-hmm. And he's like a billionaire and he still like runs part of the, hi Cuckoo. And I was like, so were like people happy, the employees happy about that? And he was like, no. And I was like, oh, so like this place is run by a freaking like people, like you can be a billionaire selling trees. Mm-hmm.
Oh, bless the baby.
Excuse me. And I was like, what a brilliant business in a way, because I mean, obviously it's like a sophisticated business because they do landscaping, they deliver the trees, they have to keep the trees alive, blah, blah, blah. But I was like,
bless the baby.
Thank you. But I'm like, if you are like selling trees, like you don't have to buy trees to begin with, right? You just have to go find the trees and then grow them and then sell them, right? Mm-hmm. So like once you start growing the trees, you kind of like own.
Yeah.
Like you own your overhead or something. Right. Am I crazy?
No, that makes sense to me.
I mean, I don't know when these people started this nursery.
Yeah, but it is a self-sustaining thing after a while. Unless you were, well, I don't know. I wonder what's allowed. What are you allowed to bring in?
To bring into the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because palm trees are not from here.
They had a lot of palm trees.
Yeah.
Wait, all palm trees? Like no palm trees?
I don't think
because there's
native.
there's palmetto trees in South Carolina that look like tiny little palm trees.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that they were native. The palm trees, the famous Los Angeles palm trees, I believe were maybe not native to Los Angeles.
Yeah, what are those king palms or what, the tall ones? You mean?
Yeah, I don't know. But do you remember we heard like an urban legend about how
they were dying?
They were all gonna
die the same year. Because they all have like an 80-year time span.
They were all planted at the same time.
Wait, that was an urban legend?
Yeah. That's like...
Wait, I thought that was real.
No.
I remember who told us that, but I'm not going to say on the podcast.
Same.
But they were like, they said they only have an 80-year time span, and the city planted them all at the same time, so they're all going to die like in the next year or two.
Yeah, but that also would have been way before, whatever the times. 80 years is nothing now. Like these were allegedly planted like at the beginning of the film industry,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is more than 100 years ago,
right?
So they figured it out.
Those like really.
It was told to us as if, oh no, it's just the thing that's going to happen. Like all these trees are going to fall over.
What if the free trees from the city, I was like, they would give you one of those, like a beginning of it.
I mean,
but the thing is, they don't give you those.
I do love them.
The reason they don't give you those is because the city program for the free trees, is to create more shade.
Yes, exactly.
And because of like concrete and heat and like global warming, energy savings.
Yeah.
So like the more of these trees I plant around my house, the more shade, the less energy you use, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it's a great move for your house.
So basically it's like if I planted one of those really tall, skinny palm trees, you don't get any shade from those.
No, not at all.
None.
No.
So
and
they don't give you
I
those.
do love the idea of like a big fat tree. We don't really have one of those. But if it was like
we'd have to like watch it grow for like 50 years or something.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite
or
tree?
spend $10,000 to get like an oak tree in our front yard.
Can you imagine our tiny ass yard, our tiny little, our tiny
It
little.
would take up the entire yard.
Wait, but then I have a little coda to this story.
Coda?
Coda, epilogue, is that the same thing?
Sure.
Am I using those words right?
Yeah.
A period, if you will.
Postscript?
Okay. I was doing something about to walk out the house, and I saw the free tree truck pull up to the house. They got out, and they brought another tree, and plopped it on my porch.
Oh yeah.
And I threw on my jacket and
your house coat.
Yeah, and I ran out the door, and I said, "Excuse me. I think you have the wrong. I have already received my tree."
Right.
See this guy over here? Like I pointed over to. See this little puppy?
Mm-hmm.
That's my free tree. I already got my free tree. And they were kind of like, you can get 7, right?
Like they were just gonna dump it on you.
And like,
what was gonna happen for the person who wanted?
Well, that's the thing. It's like I was like, no. I was like, do you see how small my yard is? I don't have space for this.
What if we got 7 of those trees?
I mean, we like a forest. Like we grew a forest in the yard.
In our tiny postage stamp yard.
And I was like, okay. I was like, you gotta take this back. So they took it back, and then like the next day or something, I get an email, like one of those automated emails, like, dear, like, Ann Sui or whatever, like the wrong name.
Right.
Congratulations on receiving your free tree. Now here are your next steps. And I was like, those motherfuckers tried to give me Ann Sui's tree, whoever that person is. And I don't even know if that person got their tree. Yeah. But I was like, no, you can't. I've already almost set my house into a explosion.
I almost blew up my own home.
I almost blew up my fucking house to plant this tree. I suppose I could have an orchard of crepe myrtle in the front of my of my yard.
What if we became the Crepe Myrtle house?
I don't hate it.
We'd be like a little landmark.
I kind of don't hate it.
Like one of those little landmarks.
I sort of don't hate it.
And then when we die, it'll be like the Crepe Myrtle house is for sale.
Like the place in West Hollywood with all of the Davids.
Yes.
The Michelangelo
statues of David.
Yeah.
There was a place for people that don't know, and I don't know how you wouldn't have heard of this.
Well, if you live in LA, you would have.
Yeah. There was somebody's house, some wealthy person.
It's on Beverly, off of Beverly.
Who for some reason had like 36 miniature statues of David.
It felt like a lot more than that,
like
but
they were
maybe
like 3
it was.
feet high.
And they were like lit up at night and stuff.
Yeah. Same
They
statue.
were not 3 feet high. Some of them I felt like were 5 or 6 feet high.
Oh, I thought they were all uniform height.
I don't remember. Now I want to look up like the images because it's not there anymore.
Yeah. They finally moved or died or whatever.
Something.
Yeah.
But
And then they
it
were
was
selling
the
those
David.
Davids.
Yeah, and it was like the David house was for sale.
Yeah.
The Michelangelo David house was for sale. So you're saying we should become the miniature Crepe Myrtle orchard house? Is that what you're proposing?
I'm trying to imagine what it would look like.
Well, it would at first look like a bunch of sticks sticking up out of our yard.
At first.
Yeah. And then I had to stake this motherfucking tree because it comes with like this tiny little nursery stake.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had to go down this rabbit hole of like double staking your tree.
So many
and then,
rabbit holes.
You know, like, and then I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Planted right. I mean, I don't like there's no air on the root ball. There's not a trench around it with the thing. And you know, like if this tree lives, it is literally like
it is God's will.
But this is like I'm a tree mom now and I am looking after these trees, and like that on the break I did go look at the trees. Because I'm trying to keep them alive.
Do you think your mom will get a bumper sticker that says, I love my Grandtrees? We had a big discussion about those bumper stickers.
Wait, that's a good kinship. Oh, kinship. I love
kinship.
I love my Grandtrees. That is a t-shirt. I love my Grandtrees.
You remember we saw those bumper stickers?
Yes.
About I love my grand dogs.
Yeah.
And then we had a debate about
how passive aggressive and angry
is it to shame the people who did not have kids, or is it people making the best of a situation?
Or maybe they had grandkids, but they just love the grandkids.
They love the dogs more. That would be cold.
I know, but remember
that would be so cold.
I think we took a picture of it.
Yeah.
And we kept for the longest time we kept going, I love my grand dogs.
Yeah. I love my grand dogs.
I just love my grand dogs. But I love my Grandtrees.
Would you like to ask me about my grand dogs?
My Grandtree is an honor student.
All right, we should wrap
My
it up.
Grandtree is an honor student at its nursery.
Yeah, at a nursery.
At a nursery.
It's perfect. It writes itself. Recommendations? We're watching Department Q, which is enjoyable.
Yes, but can I recommend a show I love on Netflix? Mm-hmm. Season 3 came out. And yes. I binged season 3. And yeah, I cried. I laughed. I did all the things. Ginny and Georgia. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I love this show, but I love this show.
It's a very charming
show. It's a charming, and I love the writing on the show.
I got to admit, we were telling friends this last night. I have not watched every episode, but when I've watched it while you were watching it,
ambiently watched.
I really enjoyed it. It always got a laugh out of me every episode.
It's a dramedy,
and really good actors. Really good actors.
Actors are so good.
Everybody's great.
I love the cast so much. Mm-hmm. I love the writing. It's a weird toned. I don't know a lot of There's just not a lot of dramedies.
No.
Like I feel like there'd be dramedies on Max. And I do love a dramedy, but the tone of the dramedies on Max sometimes are just not funny. Oh, back to HBO.
It hasn't changed yet. Like our app still says Max.
Oh yeah, Max changed. HBO changed to Max, and now it's changing back to HBO, and they still haven't changed it back to HBO.
Stupid.
Also, like, who cares? What is like? It's gonna change again. It's like this feels like the Pepsi Clear or like Coke.
New Coke.
Well, New Coke.
Yeah.
It was New Coke.
Yeah.
New Coke was a hate crime.
That's extreme.
It was traumatic.
Living in a time of hate crimes, rampant hate crimes.
A marketing hate crime.
It was a
marketing hate crime.
Marketing hate crime.
We can't exaggerate in the age of fascism because things are so exaggerated.
They're actually doing it. Yeah.
It's a bummer, kind of.
You can't even say somebody's like Hitler anymore because now there's new Hitlers.
I just feel like it's the kind of thing where it's like you want to be like expressive and creative in your speech. You want to be sometimes like hyperbole or like exaggeration or, I'm from the South and like we'd spin a tall tale or what, like you get kind of like,
florid with your language.
Yeah. And it's like now it feels kind of like, okay, you have to be extremely concise.
Yeah.
You have to be very clear. You have to be clear-eyed. You have to be very dry.
We can't even say soup Nazi anymore.
It's kind of like stifling in ways.
It's stifling.
But it's also stifling just to exist because they're disappearing people. So fuck ICE.
You stifle yourself. Remember Archie Bunker? All right.
No, I don't remember that.
That was one of his famous catchphrases. He would ask people to stifle themselves.
He did?
He would tell his wife to stifle herself, yes.
He did?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy. All right.
Well, wait. What's it?
Ginny in Georgia.
I love Ginny in Georgia.
Department Q, enjoying that. Janie has said she's going to watch Andor with me.
I know. Everyone said I should watch Andor.
I'm going to rewatch it.
And because it also like applies to the times.
Mm-hmm.
And podcast wise, I'm just still like, I'm digesting all my news analysis and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I can't really recommend like.
Yeah.
And book wise, I've been trying to read like sort of like escapist stuff. So
I went back to the book that I abandoned and it picked back up again.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was nice to see.
Do you want to tell people what it was?
Our share of, well, I feel bad now, but Our Share of the Night, it's called.
I like the title.
Yeah, it's like a sort of horror book.
Oh.
But it's very interesting. The ideas in it are cool. I want to remind people that Varietopia is going to be live streaming on Sunday, July 13th, 7 p.m. Pacific. It's going to be a very fun show. Live stream is very good quality. You won't be sorry. And then we're
Tell people where to go.
Going to be back out. I will. We're not going to be back out on tour until October, when we are going to Charleston, Louisville, Kentucky, St. Louis, Missouri, and of course Overland Park, Kansas, which everybody goes to.
You must be flying to all of those places, not driving.
I do not know the travel itinerary, but we will find out.
And July. When is the live stream?
Sunday, July 13th, 7 p.m. Pacific. Go to varietopia.com for all your tickets.
But if you're in LA,
they can see it in person.
They can come see it in person at Lodge Room.
Of course. All the tickets, live tickets and live stream tickets are all in the same place.
Okay, which is what?
Varietopia.com.
Now, guys, if you like this, you might like our bonus offerings.
Yes, we are once again watching, and just like that, the new season, we are doing our reactions to that show.
And those conversations have been just lively.
They
have been so lively. Mm-hmm. And so many people have enjoyed them who don't even watch the show.
It's true.
They're there for the emotion.
Yeah.
And let's face it, the comedy.
Let's just face it. Let's not shy away from it.
We're amusing people with our outrageousness.
If this intrigues you, go to weekendwater.substack.com and sign up for our bonus content.
Yes, we will see you there, please. And if you want to see a t-shirt that says I love my Grandtrees, the best place to do it is to comment on this episode over at weekendwater.substack.com in the comments section.
Let me just amend this. Not if you want to see it, but if you want to buy it.
If you want to buy it.
Of course, we all want to see it, but we don't want to put our money where our mouth is.
I feel like it would be a green shirt, and it would have white print on it, and it would have trees.
It must have trees.
And it would say, I love my Grandtrees.
It has to have trees in pots.
In pots?
Fledgling trees. Because they're grand trees.
No, they're Grandtrees.
Yeah.
But then are the grand parents of the trees next to the potted trees?
I don't think so, but that's worth discussing. We'll figure it out. It could be like a Generations, where it's like those stickers people have in the back of their cars.
Oh, right.
Where it's like a stick figure of a stick figure of a grandma with curly white hair, of course. Stick figure of a young mom.
Yeah.
And then stick figure of a tree in a pot.
Also feel like it could be a good sweatshirt, which is a hard sell during the summer, but
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, okay. All right, well,
you can always use a t-shirt. You don't always need a sweatshirt.
I disagree. I wear sweatshirts way more than t-shirts.
Okay.
But I love a tank top. We don't have a tank top in our offerings.
We do not have a tank top.
In our offerings. And it's summer.
Tank top's a big ask.
Okay. I would prefer a tank top. But
all right. Let us know. Get in those comments.
Get in the comments over weekendwater.com. And until then,
stay safe,
stay sane,
and
stay
strong.